After my wife suddenly met with a car accident, she began to imagine herself as a mistress I forced into a relationship. Every day she wept and cursed me as a beast. She hid in the wardrobe, refusing to come out. Until her parents and sister came to visit, she abruptly burst out, pointing at her sister and loudly berating that so-called legitimate wife for her arrogance. What's with that old cucumber painted green pretending to be pure? The whole family froze, eyes wide in shock. As for me, I was so embarrassed I wanted to dig a three-bedroom, one-lingam hole beneath my feet, mortified to the point of wanting to shove her back to the accident scene. But who could have guessed? The one acting out this drama was none other than my precious golden ring princess, whom I married properly, now living in the hazy memories of begonia patterns at Hope Mountain. When I learned White Angelica had woken up, I rushed to the hospital. The woman sitting on the hospital bed had vacant eyes. Between her brows lingered an unshakable sorrow. Her forehead was still wrapped in gauze. My pushing the door open startled her, and immediately after, tears streamed down her cheeks, falling like dust. "Why won't you let me go?" I stood there utterly baffled. "My name is Forrest Inc. Thank you." She clutched the pillow on the hospital bed in despair, curling up, trembling eyes red from failing to win my heart. "You want to torment my body just because you can't have my heart? Speak, what trick do you have this time? Just throw it at me. At worst, I'll seek death again." Before the increasingly horrified gaze of the doctor, I quickly waved my hands. "No, that's not it. I've never done anything to her." The reason she got into the accident was clearly because she was engrossed in watching a live stream about beating mistresses, so absorbed she didn't notice the traffic ahead causing the crash. After another round of tests, the doctor adjusted his glasses, calmly explaining White Angelica's current condition. "We've done a brain CT for Miss White. The results show everything is normal. No signs of hemorrhage or tissue damage. However, during routine cognitive tests, we noticed her perception seems slightly distorted. It's likely related to what Miss White was watching before the accident. In short, in White Angelica's current perception, I'm the domineering man who coerced her, and she's the frail little white flower I torment both physically and emotionally." After hearing the doctor's explanation, I fell silent. I seemed to recall who City Wall was. Could it be the male lead from that Begonian novel I casually bookmarked? White Angelica even secretly checked my account. The doctor continued, "When Miss White recovers her memory, those strange thoughts will naturally disappear. Don't worry too much. For now, go along with her perception to avoid unintentionally stimulating her brain." Back in the hospital room, White Angelica had cried herself dry, curled up in a corner of the bed. Her eyes were tightly shut, traces of tears still beneath them, looking as if she'd fallen asleep. I sighed, carefully stepping forward, wanting to cover her with a blanket. She suddenly woke, retreating to the corner against the wall, her panicked gaze landing on me. I opened my mouth, but before I could speak, she was already terrified, stammering incoherently, "I can't bear it if you sleep with me in the hospital." The nurse nearby nearly dropped her cup of water. I coughed awkwardly, calmly stepping out of the room. My dignity was entirely shredded by her. Irritated, I grabbed her collar, pulled her off the bed. The doctor said, "You're fine now. Come home with me." She grew even more panicked. "I don't want to go back. That dark basement. You really are a beast." A beast, huh? I couldn't hold back, pinching her mouth, turning it into a little duck's beak, mimicking the greasy smile of a domineering CEO. "Say one more word, and I'll sleep with you right on the street." Her pupils shrank, her face paled, and she fell silent. The car sped along the road. White Angelica stared blankly out the window, her mind seemingly lost, until we got out of the car and I led her to the master bedroom in the villa. The sunset was falling. It was nearly dinner time. I handed White Angelica her pajamas, noticing her bandaged arm, and her body noticeably thinner after 2 days in the hospital. A wave of pity surged within me. Softly, I asked, "Does your arm still hurt? Shall I help you bathe?" She instantly clutched the pajamas, jumping 3 steps back. "Don't think I don't know. You want to do something to me while I'm bathing." As if memories flooded back, Her eyes welled up, sobbing, "I don't want to do that with you. Stop deceiving me. No matter how sweet your words, I won't fall for it again." My heart pounded, both angry and amused. How should I put it? Could it be that normally she's the one who takes the initiative, turning into a little cat at midnight, licking and teasing, a common occurrence? White Angelica, one I read, and Terry watched me warily. The other pressed against the wall, slowly inching toward the bathroom, finally darting inside. Her silhouette like that of someone fleeing downstairs, and King was still cooking. Exhausted from the day, I yawned slowly, wanting to nap for a bit, but within minutes, White Angelica screamed shrilly from the bathroom. My drowsiness vanished instantly. About to rush over to see what happened, she burst out, charging toward me, standing frozen, tears of grievance shimmering in her eyes, stubbornly refusing to fall. Her slender finger pointed to an indescribable part of herself, each word spat out deliberately. "The private massage machine of your darling." I froze, blinking. You told me to write it. On that swelteringly hazy night, drenched in sweat, White Angelica out of nowhere pulled out a pen, guided my hand downward, her voice husky. "Darling, right here. I belong to you. Even this part." Perhaps it was special ink, lasting for days without fading. The outwardly cold golden ring princess, inwardly a passionate lunatic, with a feline streak, often leaving me dazed and enchanted in bed. There's more to it. Those flamboyant techniques unexpectedly suited me. You think I'd believe that? She screamed in agony. "You just want me to always remember that the toy you play with, secretly, making my soul and body sing, and telling you Forest Inc. don't even dream of it. Sob, you don't treat me like a human. I'm just a toy, a pet. Something you can discard when you're bored. I hate you," she babbled on, so noisy it was maddening. I raised my hand and slapped her, my last shred of patience officially gone. Grabbing her collar, I dragged her toward the basement. She was stunned by the slap, forgetting to resist. As for the basement she mentioned, it does exist, but it was personally designed by White Angelica herself. A small dim room, a large bed covered with rose petals, flanked by glass cabinets displaying useless toys once separated from the body, and pitifully scant uniforms. I patted the camera facing the bed, looking at her petrified with fear. "All of this was prepared by you for me. I never forced you. You said for a marriage to last, the body must first be in harmony. So every night you dragged me to explore bodily structures. I probed. Surely you remember something now, right?" White Angelica trembled, pointing at the camera, as if about to faint. "Forest Inc., are you even human? You dare record videos every night to threaten me." I fell silent. "Why don't you check the camera first?" Her pain deepened to the extreme. "Isn't verbal humiliation enough? You want me to see with my own eyes the ruined version of myself you've created." White Angelica took a sharp breath as if struck by lightning. The flimsy clothes on her shook with rage. "What, you even want to watch the video while doing something to me?" I struggled to mock her astonishing imagination, glancing impassively at my phone. "I don't have that fetish. Let's eat. Are you coming downstairs?" But she remained immersed in her own world, muttering incessantly, with gasping breaths. "What else can I do? The video's in your hands if they leak. How can I face anyone? My chastity was my most precious wedding gift, and now even that's gone. What's the point of resisting?" She sniffled, with an air of forced submission to an evil force, turning to look at me. "Fine, I'll stay with you. But on one condition, I won't be the mistress and you can't have anyone else. That's my line." I raised an eyebrow, suddenly finding it a bit amusing. White Angelica, after losing her memory, had richer emotions than her usual self. "But you're already my CEO. We're married." She froze as if struck by lightning, unable to believe it. "You have a wife and still came for me." I sneered. "Men like us don't sweat the small stuff. Women just have fun with as many as you like. The more the merrier." I reached out, caressing her smooth face, smirking teasingly. "What's wrong with being a mistress? I guarantee you a lifetime of wealth, no worries about food or clothing." She slapped my hand away, her jaw tight with the anger of its owner, her fist clenched and unclenched at her side, sneering, her sharp gaze piercing me. eyes full of mockery, provoking you think you've made me love you, scoffing I have someone in my heart too. His face is 3 parts like yours. If figured it out just now, if I can't belong to him in this life, occasionally deceiving myself is fine. After all my life's already rotten. If you treat me as a toy, I'll treat you as a substitute. Her blunt admission, her sparkling eyes, made my face darken like the bottom of a pot. My urge to tease her vanished like smoke. In White Angelica's pre-amnesia perception, once passing by the master bedroom, I saw her sitting at the headboard, holding a photo lost in a trance. With my 50 vision, I clearly saw the person in the photo. A boy in a school uniform, head down, sleeping on a desk, his profile faintly resembling mine. At that moment, my heart skipped a beat. A vague premonition, like an invisible hand gripping my heart, but I pretended not to see and left. White Angelica and I married for an alliance. The Forest and White families, both top-tier clans. A powerful union. A talented man, a beautiful woman. A perfect match. That was enough. I thought this transactional marriage would never stir my heart from beginning to end. Until witnessing the heartbreaking scene before me, I realized I might have fallen for White Angelica. White Angelica isn't a refined lady. Soon after marriage, she revealed her perverse side, but in that regard, she was exceptionally skilled, leaving me exhausted daily. Add to that her meticulous daily care, extravagant romantic surprises on holidays, her passionate, unreserved love. It's not hard to be moved. After that, I didn't ask more. Living into your 20s, who doesn't have a few unspeakable stories? It also served as a reminder to myself not to sink into her seemingly deep eyes. Who knows if she's looking at me or someone else through me? This also explained why, despite knowing each other for so little time, after marriage, she acted as if she'd loved me for years, finding a reasonable explanation for this commercial marriage, each taking what they need. Mutual benefit was enough. Overthinking was pointless. That's what I told myself. But now that she'd said it outright, my heart still felt stifled, uneasy. She even raised her chin, her face full of not inferior defiance. Wasn't she imagining herself as a golden bird? I stole away. Fine, let her keep that role. I stepped forward, smiling gently at her. She was smugly acting her part. I pinned her to the carpet, deftly turning on the camera, aiming it at her to start recording. She panicked, struggling fiercely. What are you doing, you pervert? I seized her weakness. She let out a hum, going limp, drained of strength. Tears welled in her eyes. You're such a scoundrel. I lightly patted her face, leaning in to whisper calmly in her ear. When I've slept with you 1,000 times, 10,000 times until you're a rotten cucumber no one wants, will you still have the face to mention your full moon? Now open your eyes wide. See clearly who I am. Call the wrong name once and it'll take you 3 times. Her eyes widened, words of defiance unuttered. She bit her lower lip, clutching the carpet beneath her, her knuckles whitening, her brows slightly furrowed, the corners of her eyes flushed red, soft gasps escaping her lips. I rubbed her plump lips, forcing her to speak. Who am I? What do you call me? Say it, White Angelica. Don't even think of staying silent. I slapped her again. At first she resisted, but gradually gave in, submitting, cooperating with me, her left cheek marked red, exuding a charm born of torment. Who am I? White Angelica sobbed. Sob Forest Inc. I was furious. I changed my name. Call me Forest Inc. White Angelica, Forest Inc. Say it again, White Angelica. Forest Inc. is Forest Inc. Her gaze shifted from humiliated struggle to predatory, her small hands actively wrapping around my neck. So taming can be this thrilling. White's parents, worried for their daughter, cut short their trip, visiting her the next day. Beforehand, I tactfully explained White Angelica's condition to the 2 elders. Her sister White Frost came along too, but her reaction was fiercely resistant. I won't see them, because now she imagined herself as an orphan, relying on herself to earn a living, only to be snatched by me midway, forced into being a delicate white flower in a coerced romance. So I couldn't tell her outright that her parents and sister were visiting. She probably thought as a mistress, meeting anyone was inappropriate. This morning Mother White called me, somewhat urgently. I hadn't yet figured out how to tell White and Angelica about their identities. Several times I wanted to speak, but stopped. I know what you want to say. Her face was expressionless, eyes downcast. Her tone tinged with subtle sadness. I'll hide in the wardrobe for a bit. I promise not to disturb you. I was surprised. Hide from what? White Angelica, if your wife's family sees me, they'll probably want to kill me. After all, a mistress is something everyone wants to beat. She hugged a pillow and slipped into the wardrobe. Softly, it's fine. I'll sleep in here for a bit. The wardrobe door slammed shut. Wait, how did she guess that? You've misunderstood. They're relatives visiting my father. You don't need to hide. White Angelica sneered. You think I'm stupid? If they were just normal relatives, why would you look like you want to say something, but don't know how? You're just afraid of being caught in the act. I was speechless. Her imagination was too wild and no amount of persuasion worked. The doorbell rang downstairs. I had to tell White's parents that White Angelica had lost her memory, her mental state unstable, not wanting to see anyone, hoping they'd understand. Mother White's eyes reddened immediately. It's okay. Where's little Angelica now? Well, just sneak a peek at her. White Angelica was adopted. Before junior high, she endured much hardship with her foster parents. They already felt guilty toward their daughter, unable to return immediately when she had her accident. So they felt even more heartache and guilt. White Frost felt the same. Perhaps seeing us might help her regain some familiarity. Unable to refuse them, I hesitantly told the truth. She's locked herself in the wardrobe. If she says anything nonsensical later, please don't take it to heart. And don't contradict her. There was no other way if I said outright that White Angelica saw herself as my mistress. It'd be too bizarre. The reason was also because she read my Begonian novel. Mother White was very patient, using a gentle child coaxing tone. Little Angelica, are you playing hide and seek with us? Can we see you? I also secretly messaged White Angelica, typing on my phone via WeChat. Come out obediently. Don't be stubborn, or tonight you know what it'll do. The wardrobe remained silent. Little Angelica, little Angelica. White Angelica, clutching her pillow, yanked the wardrobe door open, her long hair covering her eyes, revealing only half her delicate face, and her trembling thin lips. Her long legs stepped out, silently emerging from the wardrobe, her back straight, her voice hoarse, admitting, I had a bad feeling. Her voice suddenly rose, her body seeming to leap. Yes, I was hiding, because in the mistress who can't show her face. Your whole family's here to deal with me, right? I'm not afraid to face you all. Susan Rain, that's the name of the heroine in the Begonian novel. Am the mistress Forrest Inc. keeps at home. She was like, screw it, break the jar entirely. Quite surprising, right? Ha ha ha. Being a mistress is the trend these days. You wouldn't understand. She pointed at her sister, her face blank, taking the stance of a mistress challenging the legitimate White. With your looks, you're not even as pretty as me. You think I'll love you for how many years? Beauty fades, love dries up. Don't you get that? Don't think being the legitimate wife makes you superior. Dressing all pure like that, pretending to be innocent. Even college girls are just old cucumbers painted green. How laughable. Since she was just visiting family, White Frost dressed simply comfortably, her face full of question marks. I was mortified. Who told her White Frost was the legitimate wife? I couldn't cover her mouth in time, couldn't crawl into a crack in the floor. I was so embarrassed my scalp tingled, my toes digging out an entire magical castle. Before I could explain, Mother White snapped out of her shock, sighing in relief. Looks like no big issue. She can still roleplay. She looked at me, her gaze meaningful. Smiling, you young couples play such fancy games, even with competitive elements. I was already flustered, now even more so. What? Are middle-aged people reading young Master Yang's novel? White Frost's lips twitched slightly. So I'm part of your game, Taha. White Angelica, after this incident, for some reason got furious, refusing to eat, starving for 2 days, her steps unsteady, her spirit listless, nearly fainting from low blood sugar. I was utterly helpless. Explaining 100 times that White Frost wasn't my wife, she still wouldn't believe me. Even shoving the marriage certificate in her face, she refused to look, screaming, "I know you two are so lovey-dovey. No need to keep reminding me in the mistress." I was so angry I couldn't take it. In a fit of rage, my thoughts skewed. In her mind now, she's just a mistress. What right does she have to demand equality with me? I dragged her into the room, told Aunt King to wash a basket of cilantro and bring it up, the thing White Angelica hates most. As expected, seeing the cilantro, her expression changed. "What are you going to do?" I pulled out a sprig of cilantro, gently brushing it over her body. "Now you have two choices. Start eating properly from today, or I'll stuff all this into you. Think carefully before answering." Forest Inc. She blushed halfway and turned away, her voice softening. "Whether I eat or not, what's it to you? Do you care? In front of the legitimate wife, I'm just a joke. There's no place for me in this house. If I'd known she was coming, I wouldn't have come." Muttering, "What?" I said impatiently. "Choose." She bit her lower lip, her undergarments heaving suppressed. "You only know how to bully me. If I don't eat, I won't eat. Fine, you brought this on yourself." I rolled up my sleeves, took a sprig of cilantro and stuffed it in her mouth. White Angelica rubbed her eyes, forced to tears by me, her limbs flailing. But after 2 days of starvation, she had no strength left to my mercy. "You bastard, Forest Inc., you absolute bastard." I wasn't satisfied yet. Stuffing a few more sprigs in. "Why is your mouth so shallow? Keep eating." Cilantro juice dripped out, sliding down White Angelica's neck, leaving a trail. "Ooh, disgusting. I don't want to eat anymore. I really can't." I smirked wickedly. "Don't worry. I know your body's limits. Swallow it obediently for me. No, I'll vomit if I eat more." White Angelica's cries drew her mother, who upon seeing her kneeling on the floor, clothes disheveled, her small pink mouth slightly open. White Angelica's dazed eyes showed a strange expression, quietly advising little Angelica hasn't fully recovered. "Be careful with overly stimulating games." I was baffled. "What? She's been refusing food, and just punishing her with cilantro." Mother White's eyes darkened. "That's it? No follow-up after the punishment? What's she disappointed about?" After that ordeal, White Angelica became more obedient. I watched her slowly finish dinner, brought a bowl of fish soup to her. "Drink this. You need nourishment. Since leaving the hospital, the chaos has made you lose several pounds, ruining the feel of your waist in my hands." She sat up straight. "You punish me just because I didn't eat, not because I said something disrespectful that day." I was surprised. "What disrespectful thing?" Her lips curved slightly, but the next second she acted like nothing happened, as if hiding her improving mood. After dinner, she even fought to wash the dishes. Then the young lady injured her finger. "Household chores aren't for you yet. Rest obediently, don't cause trouble." I had a splitting headache, finally bandaging her finger into a butterfly bow. She said nothing, lowering her head, curling her fingers. "A week ago, she wished she could turn into a fox every night, White Angelica. Now she's like a timid little bride, afraid I'd do something to her. Only after I'm sound asleep does she cautiously climb into bed. Tonight was no exception, but while I was deep in slumber, an arm gently wrapped around my waist. She pressed close. White Angelica buried her head in the back of my neck, her ticklish warm breath. "Why don't you scold me for daring to provoke the legitimate wife? Why treat me like a toy, yet act like you care about me?" Her voice was melancholic, tangled with emotions. "Because of you, I'm really about to forget him." "How can I forget him for you? That substitute thing. It's just me not wanting to lose too badly. You're so awful, bullying me like this. Even recording videos to threaten me. I shouldn't like you. What should I do?" Tears silently spread. I hate myself. Hate being toyed with by you. Hate my shameful physical reactions. Hate that you don't truly love me. Hearing this, my emotions were complex. Afraid of hurting her pride, I closed my eyes, pretending to sleep on. She nuzzled against me, crying herself to sleep. In the dark, I gently turned, kissing her forehead, lightly sigh. "What's going on here?" White Frost, determined to be an artist, had to return to the country this time. White's parents old and retired, with White Angelica unable to work. I was overwhelmed alone, So White Frost temporarily took over the White family conglomerate. In the office, finally explaining the recent projects to hand over to White Frost, I stood up, my vision darkening, nearly collapsing, probably because I hadn't eaten breakfast. Careful, are you okay? White Frost steadied me in time, keeping a proper distance, stepping back, releasing me once I was steady. I'm fine, a loud thud came from outside. A familiar figure flashed by the corner of my eye. I ran out to look. No one was there. How strange. Busy all day returning home. No sign of White Angelica, until the sound of running water came from the bathroom, mixed with the calm voice of an actor, vaguely hearing something. Men don't play with fire. Words like playing hard to get. Classic CEO romance novels. White Angelica. Why is she listening to this? About to lean in to hear better, the bathroom door suddenly opened. A woman wrapped only in a towel, her small cat-like eyes misty from the steam. Startled to see me, slightly stunned, water droplets rolled down her fair skin, sliding over her soft little waist. Before this feminine scene, boundless spring. A flame of desire ignited from my lower abdomen. Always mindful of her emotions, I hadn't indulged in a while. Primal instincts awakened. My fingertips began to heat up. I slowly swallowed, my voice husky, pulling at her towel. Why so formal at home? After bathing, don't wear anything. Lie obediently on the bed and wait for me. She grabbed my hand, strangely not refusing but smiling, fresh from the bath, her eyes corners flushed, carrying a captivating allure, pulling me into the room. As you command, master. I was surprised by her initiative tonight. Before I could ponder why, her masterful kissing technique melted me, body temperature rising, the mood just right. About to go further, she suddenly pulled back, swiftly jumping off the bed, calming her ragged breath in 3 seconds, tying the towel tightly, then showing a guilty, aggrieved expression. Sorry, I remembered I caught a cold yesterday. Doing this might spread it. For safety, I'll sleep elsewhere tonight. Without waiting for my reaction, she grabbed a pillow and bolted out of the room, leaving me with unvented desire, my face fuming with anger. Just moments ago, she seemed ready to devour me. Not like someone with a cold at all. White Angelica, get back here. She quietly played dead. The next day, White Angelica repeated her old trick, first telling the butler to say she wasn't feeling well. When I reached the living room, I saw her wrapped in a blanket, styled like an ancient costume, exposing her shoulders and neck writhing on the bed. Her seductive eyes locked on me. Quanren, what are you standing there for? Your concubine has waited so long. White Angelica's skin is radiant white, her thin lips soft and fair, her collarbone delicate and beautiful. This scene was undeniably alluring. She toyed with me yesterday, I hadn't forgotten. Still a bit upset, intending to be aloof and cold like a courtesan hanging her sign, then leave indifferently. But as my gaze unintentionally drifted down, the robe with her movements clung to her skin. My God, this damn thing had nothing underneath. My burning gaze made White Angelica's ears flush red. Unlike usual when she'd cursed me as a filthy rogue, she bit her lip, placing a hand on the flimsy fabric. Her voice soft as a mosquito's hum. Want to look, or want to see me entertain myself once? Damn it, where did she learn these brazen moves? All thoughts of aloofness thrown out the window, I strode into the room, hoisted her onto my shoulder, teasing her until she surrendered. Crying and powerless, White Angelica suddenly pushed me away, wiping away to force tears. Returning to her former serious, restrained demeanor, I remembered I have some work. If you're still sleepy, sleep more. Then she vanished like smoke, leaving me unable to grab even a corner of her blanket. White Angelica, are you sick? I was so angry I threw a pillow at the door, stopping just at the critical moment again and again. I was sure she was deliberately toying with me. With her mind not normal now, I couldn't really discipline her. If this kept up, how could I endure? Provoked daily, I couldn't take it. Her body had nearly fully recovered, but her memory showed no progress. So I decided, perhaps sending White Angelica to her parents' house for a while might help her memory. But White Angelica refused, given what she'd done. I really didn't want to give her a good face, So from packing her bags to calling the driver to take her back, I used a commanding tone, no room for refusal, telling White Angelica. She hugged her suitcase crying loudly. One cry to tantrums, 3 threats to hang herself. I did everything like in the novels. Why do you still want to sell me off? You like the legitimate wife's hard-to-get games. Why would I imitate her? Do you despise me? As expected with someone you don't love, you're always this ruthless. If so, why did you provoke me in the first place? She screamed, then froze. Collapsing further, no. You're rich and powerful, you do whatever you want. Toy with me however you like. It's not even about provoking, sob. There's no talk of provoking at all. I have no dignity left to speak of. Sob. She was about to cry a hole through the ceiling. I caught the keyword frowning. The legitimate wife, what's with playing hard to get? What are you talking about? White Angelica questioned. You're still pretending. That day I snuck to the company to see. I saw you unleashing your beastly desires, wanting to do something to her in the office. But she's so skilled. Even a kiss she shyly withheld. So you can't forget her. I laughed in anger. Really, if your brain's beyond saving, donate it. Yes, 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 I love your sister. You're not even worth one of her hairs. I don't need you anymore. White Angelica was sent back home that night, crying until her eyes were swollen red. But I overlooked one thing. White Angelica now saw White Frost as her love rival, White's parents as the rival's family. If pushed too far, who knows what she might do. In truth, I regretted it afterward. Shed lost her memory, her thoughts disordered, causing misunderstandings. Her nonsense wasn't her true intent. Yet I hurt her like that. What if her condition worsened? Tossing and turning until dawn on the 5th day, thinking to call the White family. Honestly, why argue with a fool? White Frost called me first, never imagining her, usually so refined, could break down like this. Forest Inc. What did you do to little Angelica? Since coming home she hasn't been calm for a moment, either pouring cockroach poison in my bowl, or sneaking salt and sugar into everyone's food. My parents have high blood pressure, they can't eat salty food. If not that, she glares at me with dark airy eyes, muttering to herself, since she can't live anymore. Dragging me to hell wouldn't be a loss. You know, in living in fear every day. Little Angelica, oh heavens. I touched my nose guiltily. I just said I loved her sister in a fit of anger. I cleared my throat, don't worry. I'll personally soothe her. Honestly, in my 20s, I've never soothed anyone. Thinking it over, a brilliant idea sparked. I grabbed my phone and texted, clean yourself up. Bring 2 sets of star uniforms and 3 condoms over. That's clear enough, right? No need to apologize, yet showing deference. The other side had 99 unread messages. I waited an hour, nearly losing patience. Did White Angelica not understand my message? As I wondered, the doorbell rang. My heart leapt with joy. I rushed to open the door, but no one was there. On the ground were 2 gift boxes and a scrap of paper. Picking it up, it read, play, go ahead and play. Wishing the legitimate wife soon tames you. The paper was crumpled, as if soaked with tears. The corner of my mouth twitched. This idiot thought the stuff was for me to use with her sister. This time I texted directly. There's no one else. I just want to use them with you. I miss you, she replied instantly. Really? I responded immediately. If I'm lying, I'm a puppy. White Angelica, what do you take me for? You call, I come, you dismiss, I go. Don't think this means I forgive you, but since you're so sincere, I'll reluctantly come over. She said reluctantly, but in less than half an hour the doorbell rang again. Opening the door, it was White Frost panting. I was surprised. Sister, what's wrong? White Frost's face was full of worrying. Mother said. Little Angelica suddenly ran out. Not answering her phone, no one knows where she went. I asked if she came to find you. I guessed she might come to your place. You didn't reply to my messages, so I came myself, probably buried in messages. I hadn't seen them. About to say White Angelica was coming, I heard her voice. Seeing me and White Frost standing together, the bag in her hand dropped to the ground. 10 boxes of condoms. White Angelica's face paled. So you wanted a threesome? White Frost was dumbfounded. She charged forward. without reason slapped her sister's face. I was stunned, trying to stop her calm down. It's not what you think. Tears blurred White Angelica's vision. She didn't listen to me. You bastard, why is my sister stealing my man? She's the grand heiress. She can have anything. Why must she take the one I love? That slap stunned White Frost too. What's your brain thinking every day? Memory loss isn't an excuse to hit people randomly. Seeing a fight about to break out, White Angelica's momentum weakened. Her body swayed about to collapse. Clutching her head, she fainted. Wife Little Angelica. The ambulance siren wailed. White Angelica was hospitalized again. In the bedroom, I packed White Angelica's clothes, preparing to bring her a few sets. The bedside drawer wasn't fully closed. I glimpsed a small box inside. Last time I saw her take it out. Inside was a photo of her full moon. I suddenly felt curious. What kind of guy made her pine for over 10 years? Just a peek. One look wouldn't hurt, right? I'd seen it before anyway, just not closely. After psyching myself up, I froze. Why does he look so much like me? In the box wasn't just a photo, but a panda keychain and 3 neatly folded candy wrappers. Dusty memories flooded back. I woke up, my heartbeat quickening. The blurry face in my memory gradually sharpened, sharp brows and eyes slowly aligning with the White Angelica I faced day and night. So I met her back in school, my beloved wife. One day in 9th grade, after lunch with nothing to do, not wanting to rest, I went up to the school rooftop to enjoy the view. I didn't see much scenery, but met a girl. I recognized her, the top student of our grade, very distinctive. Even her photo on the honor board was unclear, her long hair covering half her face. I heard her family was struggling, her father a gambling addict, her mother ill, her life in tatters. She stood at the dangerous edge, her silhouette lonely, desolate. I didn't know if she meant to jump. That day the wind was strong, blowing her faded uniform, revealing her frail figure underneath. Afraid I wouldn't call for help in time, I casually called out, "Classmate, you here to enjoy the view too?" She turned around, her long hair blown wild by the wind. I saw a pair of beautiful eyes. Even her ugly framed glasses couldn't hide their charm. She panicked, lowering her head, unaccustomed to meeting eyes. Not planning to speak, I cautiously tried to approach her, taking the panda keychain I always carried, handing it to her, along with a few fruit candies from my pocket. "This is a little panda I won. Feels like it's fated for you. I'm giving it to you now." I heard luck from winning can be passed to others, so I reached out to her, smiling brightly, eyes curving. "If something's up, let's go downstairs and talk, okay?" She stared at me, finally reaching out to me. Back then she didn't yet have the name White Angelica. Probably changed it after joining the White family. This time White Angelica woke quickly, meeting my gaze. Her eyes widened, her face quickly flushing. She shyly burrowed into the blanket. White Frost instinctively stepped back 3 paces, then sighed in relief, touching the bruise on her face, grumbling, "So you remember now. Whatever's between you to sort it out clearly. Don't drag innocent me into it anymore. I don't want to be part of your drama." She stepped out, leaving us private space. The figure under the blanket trembled slightly. The foolish things she did after losing her memory, I know, weren't just about digging a magical castle. I leaned down, teasing in a soft voice, "If you don't come out, it'll make a scene in the hospital." She was silent for 3 seconds. A muffled voice came from the blanket, "Stop talking. Let me die." I held back a laugh. "Alright, no more teasing." I cut to the chase, asking what was on my mind. "Why didn't you ever tell me? You've secretly loved me for over 10 years. Under the blanket, half her head slowly emerged, followed by her flushed ears and sparkling eyes. "You know everything now." I gently nodded. "I saw it while packing your things." She clutched the blanket, eyes downcast, weighing her words. "I didn't want you to know. I was the weird kid at school, the one who couldn't afford a proper uniform." I explained. "Back then I only thought you were an independent top student. Never saw you as weird." I lifted her face, kissing her forehead lightly. "You don't need to feel inferior about your past. No matter what, the one I love is only you. The you of the past, present, and future, I love them all. After this ordeal, White Angelica became softer. Perhaps because I'd never said I liked her before. She often lacked security, growing more perverse in her emotions. Now that trait has faded, replaced by a clingy little cat. No more stopping at the critical moment. The seductive tricks from the novels she read are now executed with finesse. Well, so be it. The night is long. The days ahead are longer still. There'll come a day when she's fully tamed. For tonight, let's just enjoy. Good night. The story ends here.